What's going on, guys? It's Jake, the author of No, You're Not Just Big Boned. It's on my Amazon link on my page. And today I'm going to talk to you guys about why your keto diet started to work initially and is no longer working and you're no longer losing weight. And it's actually very, very simple. So first, let's go over what most people mean by the keto diet. Essentially, what I think people have when they think about a meal plan like that, which is a no-carb meal plan, is they're saying essentially, okay, it is acceptable for me to eat literally anything that does not contain carbs, no sugar essentially, no bread, no pasta, no sugar, no fruit, no even vegetables sometimes, none of that stuff. Because it's got sugar, it makes you fat, whatever. People believe that. It's not true, but people believe that. And so they implement these rules and say, okay, I can have as much eggs, meat, fish, that is meat, butter, cheese, anything that's essentially not containing any carbs. It's okay to have as much as you want. And you'll notice that some people who actually stick to this, they actually do lose weight successfully. But the key here, guys, is not because the other foods they admitted are actually bad. It's because when they say those rules, okay, I'm only going to eat eggs and meat and cheese and butter. If someone's 400 pounds before they go on this diet and they're eating thousands of calories of pizza, donuts, ice cream, soda, all that stuff, if you do replace that diet with those foods we just talked about, it does get really difficult to eat that many calories. And so you naturally are going to see your body weight come down. My problem with the keto diet, and you'll notice this too, people who do it, they never actually end up very lean. They just go from very heavy to a little bit less heavy, maybe even a healthy weight if they're lucky. But usually it's morbidly obese down to just slightly overweight. And why does this happen? Well, essentially, guys, the rule that you've given yourself, which is to have all these foods as much as you want, but as long as you avoid the carb, whatever stuff, that works to a limit. But you'll notice, guys, if you're eating butter and cheese and 70-30 ground beef, eggs are pretty good, but 70-30 ground beef, that stuff's still really high calorie. And so because you're still consuming a lot of calories, your weight finds this equilibrium. Let's say you're naturally 300 pounds and you go on the keto diet and it gets you down to 225. That's excellent. But what if you personally want to be down at 185 where you're going to look amazing? Unfortunately, that last 40 pounds, you're not going to be able to get there with your current plan because all that butter, all that high fat beef, whatever, all that high calorie stuff, it's good enough to lose weight from 300, but because your calories have now met their equilibrium at that 225 pound mark, you're not going to get to actually where you want to go. And so that's why I personally don't follow a keto diet. I don't think you should either, because one, it's unsustainable. How many people can truly not eat carbs ever again? And two, these rules don't actually lower your calories enough to get to where you want. If you want to get to 185, you have to restrict yourself from those foods. You've already said you can only eat a small window, but you have to eat purposely less butter, purposely less cheese, get even leaner ground beef, all that stuff just to be able to get to your goal weight. And on top of that, discipline required to eat less. You're already restricted in your window of what you're allowed to eat. And this is why people who love keto very seldom keep it off long term. Let's be real. They can keep it off for 3 months, 6 months, maybe a couple years, but eventually something's gonna snap. Because deep down, you and I, we like donuts, we like ice cream, we like cake, we like all those things. And when you do those rules, those arbitrary, I can have whatever I want as long as it's not A, B, or C, that really starts wearing on you. And every day is kind of like a little bit of a discipline game and a little bit of battle. And so what I would recommend is I actually do think that the basis of a healthy keto approach, essentially, from my perspective, would be an emphasis on eggs, an emphasis on not butter, not full fat cheese, because those two contain tons of calories. I think leaner ground beef is excellent. Chicken is excellent. Eggs are really good. Eggs do have fat in them, yes, but they're filling. They actually make you, who can eat 30 eggs a day? They don't have that many calories in despite being kind of small. They're pretty filling. And so I recommend keeping those foods in your diet, absolutely. But if you're someone who's plateaued and you can't seem to get down to that lower level and you insist on following a keto diet, I'm gonna actually recommend that you take a deviation away from only those foods and you do start implementing some vegetables in. And these vegetables can taste good. They can be salted, soy sauce, low calorie, any sort of condiment like low calorie ranch, low sugar ketchup, anything like that to make things taste good. You don't put ketchup with vegetables, but that's an example. Things like that. And you still get to have your basis of your meat and your eggs, but if you replace the butter and the cheese and the 70-30 ground beef with vegetables, or even just more eggs, or leaner cuts of meat. Chicken is an example. Chicken, who's overeating chicken? It's impossible, unless it's covered in barbecue sauce and oil. And so I would recommend that you keep your basis, but just implement those lower calorie foods. I promise you, vegetables and fruit, especially vegetables, they are harmless. They cannot make you gain weight. They really can't. They're just so low calorie, and the fiber in them is going to help keep you full. You guys really, if you want to get really lean, you have to move away from this just, those are bad, completely bad, but this is completely acceptable. You got to look at things with just without that tunnel vision and realize that a little bit of something else, even if you have your basis here, is okay. And this little bit of basis is actually going to help you. This little bit of, this little bit of extra is going to supplement what you're already doing. So please keep that in mind. If you're struggling to lose weight, but you were doing it before, it's simply because the calories that you're eating now are not less than what you're currently burning. So the diet needs to get fixed, or you need to start moving more, doing cardio or walking more. And if you're already making those big dietary mistakes, in my opinion, which is that butter, which is that cheese, I'm going to recommend that you make a change to vegetables and leaner cuts of meat. That's all. Thank you for watching.